All right, so in the 1750 favor video, I showed you the +2 tome that we received and also the 32-point build upgrade that was received. Now I'm going to actually use the I'm going to actually go through the reincarnation process. If you want to see how to use the lesser reincarnation heart that came free with your character, that's in the level 12 playlist video under the 1750 favor. So once we go back here, we don't have to reincarnate. We can just enter the character and run it as normal. But when we're ready to reincarnate, as we are now, we just click on reincarnate, and then it wants you to confirm the character. And at this point, we're back as if we were starting again at level 1. And so our classes are already set for us. We can't change those with the heart that they gave us. It is possible to do that through the DDO store if you want to change classes, but not with the free heart. So basically, I'm going to go click on next because all that is set. You can't change race, gender, uh, or classes. So I'm going to start here with the same stats I had for the original character. And so this is what we had with the original character, and we received a free upgrade to 32-point build from 28-point build, so we have 4 extra points to spend. And so I know I want to put 2 to wisdom because we need a 14 wisdom to cast level 4 spells. And we already received that message with our level 3 spell that our wisdom wasn't high enough. So this would give me the minimum I need to basically cast spells as a wizard all the way up through level 4 spells, which is the maximum a wizard has. So for the last 2 points, I could either there's 2 obvious choices here. I could either put it to strength, give me 16, that would cost both points, or I could put them to wisdom, which would give me 2 wisdom for 2 points. And it's kind of a toss up. I think I'm going to go ahead and just stick the 2 to wisdom. 1 point to strength is, typically it's not super impactful. If we're off by 1 point, there's always a way with Epic Destinies to fill in that odd point. And so I don't, I think I'll get more bang for the buck out of wisdom, and that'll help with our spot. That'll help with our will saves, and both of those have been issues up to now. So will saves affect things like I think the holds. You've seen me held. If you've watched any of the videos, you've seen I was held a number of times in lower levels. It was never really fatal, but it could be at higher levels. There's other spells like the sleep spell that I also failed at times. That's based on wisdom. And then the spot check is based on wisdom. So between this and the extra skill points I'm getting from the +2 intelligence tome, I should have a much higher spot now. All right, so this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to go with the sort of a balanced approach. So I think for some builds, like for example a wizard, they tend to be more of what they call min-max builds. So you would max out your key stat and then go lower on the other stats. But for this build, we have a lot of things we're trying to do. We're trying to do trapping. We're trying to do spell casting. We need charisma for saves, for extra damage. So going with this sort of a balanced build, I think makes sense for a free-to-play character. All right, so skills, we don't get any benefit from the +2 tome at level 1. We will from level 2 forward. I'm going to basically stick these to the same place before, 4 to balance, 4 to bluff, 4 to disable device, 4 to haggle. Although haggle is becoming less important, so we could potentially drop haggle. We'll take a look at that. Open lock, search, spot, 1 point to tumble, and 4 points to use magic device. And then we put 4 to and 1.5 here. So I'm not sure how much these, we're not really buffing our haggle much after 4. So, but if I look down, anything we put this to besides haggle is going to end up being a skill that's not further developed. Maybe the swim skill, 5 points, might help a little. I don't think it'll be that big of a deal. So I'm inclined to, look at this and say, well, we either want to probably stick it to swim or to haggle, and so I'm just going to leave it at haggle. All right, so for the first feats, we took two-handed fighting, and we took insightful reflexes. I'm going to stick with those feats, and then I'm just going to give him the normal look I give most of my human characters. All right, and so now we just enter, and you'll see the reincarnate button's gone. But when we enter, we're going to go to this kind of reincarnation spot called the bridge between. And the first thing you'll notice is my hotbars are all messed up, right? So in another video I showed you how to save that layout. So I'm going to just go UI space layout space load, and then hotbars.txt, and that brings it back. It doesn't fill it out entirely, but at least brings back my hotbars to the way they looked before I reincarnated, and I'll still have to fill everything out as normal. All right, now we just talk to the Life Shaper. And we can't change our classes here, so we'll just pick the top option always. And again, we just sort of developed our same skills. Let me check. I'm just checking the forum post. We have one extra skill point, plus we put one more to tumble. I'm not putting anything to concentration heal because we can only put a half a point there, and it doesn't really do us any good. So we can either stick 2 points to tumble, maybe stick a couple points to swim. Probably that's a good idea. Let's stick them to swim. And so now we are going to pick our paladin. We're not allowed to change classes, and we were previously putting 2 points to search, 2 points to disable, and 2 points to, or 1 point to spot. Now we have an extra point, 6 instead of 5, because of the intelligence tome. So we're going to put 2 points to disable, 2 to search, and 2 to spot. And for class feat, we're going to continue to pick Orion because we get the bonus of 2 quarterstaffs, so that's nice. And we took magical training at this level. And that gives us spell points, plus it gives us a 5% crit chance for our healing. And when we drop below 12 points, we get Echoes of Power, which is called, which basically lets us regenerate our spell points back to 12. I thought of changing that to something else, but I really think the healing is the thing I want to most work on. And now all of our level up points are going to go to strength. And we are going to put 2 to disable, 2 to search, and 2 to spot. To disable, 2 to search, and 2 to spot. And again, 2 to disable, 2 to search, 2 to spot. And at this point, we took Empower Healing, which would give us 75 points to our healing spells, but it costs another 10 points. And again, to disable, search and spot. We'll go to strength for our stat point again, just as we did before. So we're not really changing the build. Effectively, we're getting extra spot and extra wisdom from this respec, and that's because of the extra 4 points from 32-point build and the intelligence tome giving us the extra skill points. So the only thing it's letting us pick here is orange instruction, which gives us temporarily gives us basically turn on dead benefits, and at some point we might be able to use that. We're mainly doing it for the staff benefits. Oops, not balance. Disable, search and spot. And now we want improved two-handed fighting. And just same drill. 2 to search, 2 to spot, 2 to disable. Max out our trapping skills. And here's our level 2 skills are just auto granted. We don't select anything there. Again, 2 to disable, 2 to search, and 2 to spot. And again to strength. And then 2 to disable, 2 to search, 2 to spot. Same drill. And now we had the choice between greater two-handed fighting and improved critical, and we decided to go for improved critical. I sort of wanted to run improved critical slashing. I wanted to run White Plume Mountain and get that sword, which had keen. If we got that sword, I would have taken greater two-handed fighting instead. But we didn't get the sword, and we're using a weapon that doesn't have improved critical. So again, we're gonna level up. I believe this is our final level. Up, and yes, we get our level 3 spells. And so now she basically says, okay, you can go on your way. And I'll just put my gear on. It shows still as not meeting the level requirements, but that's because it doesn't refresh. Once I put the gear on, it refreshes. And I'm gonna put this here. My main weapon set. And let's see. Not a fan of that cosmetic cloak, so I'll just not show the cloak. Put my quiver in. And now for enhancement points. We're going to go right where we were. I think everything's going to remain the same. All right, so we're not putting anything to assassin, so I'm going to take this off. We're not putting anything here or here at the moment. We don't have access to Harper Agent yet, so it puts it there, but it will not let us spend anything. So I'm going to unset all these. Same with Falconry. We don't have access to it yet. And so our big tree is Knights of the Chalice. and then our secondary tree right now is Sacred Defender, and we might possibly use another tree later, but we'll start here. So I'm just going to make this match. Let's see, do we do all three? Yeah, we did all three. We did the cleave. We did charisma. Let's see where we're at now. Things may have changed. So we are, yeah, we're nod charisma. So let's stick with that. We did this, which is a prereq, this and this, all of which were prereqs. And that puts us to 27. So let's see what I'm missing here. Century Redeemer, Vigor of Life, Combatant. Oh, Action Boost. All right, and then Tier 5, we took everything. And for human, we had the skill boost, which we still want, and the first tier of that. And then for here, we had extra lay on hands, and we had the MRR, PRR defense, we had the stance, and we had the saves. So that's our action points. This gets us back to exactly where we were. I'm just going to drag my hotbars up to, drag things up to this. This is heal, we don't need that. I don't think we really need any of these. Trip we want to probably have here. Don't use Thunder. Sneak I'll just stick over here. We sometimes might use Sneak still, even though we haven't invested anything to it. Let's grab feats, make sure we're not missing any feats. I'll stick auto attack here. I don't think I had it there before, but sometimes it's maybe nice to auto attack. Martial feats. We're going to put the Empower Healing down here. And for Paladin feats, we are going to put the Remove Disease. Put that up here, and we're going to put Lay on Hands somewhere, I think around here for now. Smite Evil we haven't really used much. I'll stick it on there. And same with Turn Undead Paladin. I'll stick it on here, but we haven't really used Turn Undead so far. And I think that's it for my feats. And then for enhancements, we went with Avenging Cleave, Exalted Cleave, and Holy Retribution here. We had our skill boost here, and I think we also had it down here somewhere. And then if we kind of go through our gear, well, we have Jungle of Kyber coming up. Let's go ahead and stick that here as a secondary weapon for Jungle of Kyber. Actually, let's put that third. Let's put our Ooze weapon, which we've used quite a bit. And let's put our horse down here. I think we had it here. And our Cure Wand, let's stick one here and one here. We haven't really used these, but I'm going to stick these in the bottom. Let's get our spells. Alright, so we're going to have to go to a tavern. Let's do that first to set our spells. So it takes a little bit of time to do this respecking, but it's well worth it. Once you have this done, you know, we should see this level. We should see a big increase in self-healing, a big increase in our spot ability, and so I'm really looking forward to trying out some questing once we get this done and seeing the improvements. And we're going to start out with slavers, and it's, you know, we're 3 levels higher, so I don't expect slavers to be nearly as challenging as it was on Elite at level 10, but you know, it's still a very hard level 8 quest, so I'm hoping that this improvement, you know, really shows up Okay, so we have to be in a tavern to set our spells, which is kind of ironic for a paladin. The only place you could reset your spells is a tavern, of all places. We're going to want Cure Light Wounds, and we're going to want Protection from Evil. And then we're going to want Resist Energy, and we're going to want Righteous Command. And then for level 3, a lot of good spells. We'd like to have more of them, but we're only going to really focus right now on Cure Moderate. All right, so setting up our hotbars, we want to set up Cure Moderate with and without Meta Magic. And so this one I'm going to say Empower Healing is always on. If you right click on the spell and you get this option, and then I'm going to say always off. So the more with Empower Healing it costs 18, without it costs 8. So it also makes a difference. So without, it's going to heal me for around 60 and 75, and with, it's going to heal me for 122, 127. So I don't know what happened to the other one. We shouldn't have any sort of magic failure. So pretty good numbers. So it's definitely, this is going to be our go-to. In fact, maybe what I'm going to do is I'm going to put sort of on the bottom here are 2 big heals, which would be Lay on Hands and this. So those 2 things together pretty much heal us to full. I'm feeling like our hit points are lower here. I'm going to have to, oh, I think I know why. Because we also need to reset our Reaper points. And we went to saves. Actually, that shouldn't really matter. Let's check out feats. Favor feats. So we get the hit point bonus. The 2 hit point bonus is 10. Oh, I think it's because we're without the ship buffs. So we'll go on the ship and see that. But let's continue with our spell casting. So a little different than I set it up before, but I want to have the 2 big heals here on the bottom and then the smaller heal here. And sometimes we'll just have to do Cure Light, so we'll put a Cure Light with and without. Cure Light with is going to cost 13, going to cost 16, and without it's going to cost 6. So that's 39. It's pretty low. With is 48. So these are going to be sort of like if these are on a cooldown, we might quickly use these to top ourselves off. I think that's pretty good there. Where did I put my Divine Might? Because I want to put Divine Might and this action boost here. So we've got these all covered now. So I think we've got, we need our Sacred Defense stance. All right, so now we've got everything from our enhancements and our feats on there. We just need spells. This resist works a little weird because you have like 5 chances. So I'm going to drag this here just temporarily and then do this. And so what you want to do is drag it from here down to here. But we also want to, it has a cooldown. So when I click on this spell, whoop, that's not what I wanted to do. Let me fix this hotbar. It's a little uneven. All right, so when I click this spell, you can see there's like a long cooldown. So we're going to separate these and we're going to say, okay, our typical buffs are also going to include the magic missile. So I'm going to stick the first magic missile here. But I'm also going to set my gloves up here because oftentimes we'll have to use this multiple times during quest. We've got up to 20 minutes during a quest without shrining. So I'll stick that here. We don't really have much of a swap for boots, but we do sometimes if we take our ring off, or if we ever swap our ring, we might need to give ourselves expeditious retreat for a little bit of speed. So we've got that for a swap item. Let's just go through all these items here. We have a fire absorb, fire resist. So let's put Ring of the Mire here, and we may sometimes swap to this if we need more fire protection. primarily this we get 30 resists from our fire resist now. This is giving us 30 resist, but what this really gives us is the fire absorption more than anything. Uh, we'll stick this down here. Oh, it's already down there. I don't plan to really use this much, but if we need it, we will. Heroism, so then I could basically, I'll stick this here and I'll stick cold here. Again, just to kind of break up while this is on cooldown, I can click on some other things. And in terms of spells, so then we have protection from evil, so we'll stick that there, and then we'll stick acid. And then we'll go ahead and put our divine might on, because we're going to pretty much, as part of our standard buffs, use that. And then we'll use electric. And then we'll do sonic, but a lot of times I skip sonic because there's just not that many quests that have it, so I'll only put it on if a quest has it. All right, and then we also want to swap have our goggle swap. So we have 2 clickies here. So I'll put one here, and I'll also drag it here for when I need more than 1 clicky. I'll put them here, here, and then the other one here. All right, and actually it looks like we have more than 1 goggle. So I have this open lock, because sometimes the open lock's not good enough. So I'll put that here. All right, so kind of going back to this tab, we want to make sure we've got everything covered. Cloaks. So this is our default cloak. Poison cloak we switch to whenever we get hit with the demon champion poison dot. That's heavy. We've seen 60, 70 per tick. I don't know that we need this. We'll stick this here. And we have this cloak. So mainly it's going to be these 2, but this, if we ever need a little more search, we have a little more intelligence, because we don't have an intelligence item at the moment. It'd be nice to have one, but we don't currently have one. All right, so if we continue on our items, our cure wands are here. We have our horse, our cloak. Haste potion we're going to have here. Cleric, I think we had roughly down here to summon a new cleric. We've already taken care of these. And potions, I think we had a blindness here. Poison here. So we'll just kind of set that up the same way we were before. We've already got our goggles and gloves set up. Toolkit, I just stick down here so I could see if we're running low. And I've been putting the paladin materials here. We don't need level 3 materials yet because the cures don't use materials. And I'm just going to have my resurrection scroll there. Fire shield we have as an emergency, so that pretty much covers all of our gear. And under spells, we have enhancements and feats covered. So we have cures, we have it with and without meta magic. We have our protection from evil. We have our resists. We're missing this. This gives us 11 melee power. So that's pretty nice. We're getting 4 from our, let me just show you that. Well, I'll show you this after I buff it, but we're getting 4 from our 2 handed fighting feats. We're getting 10 from our tier 5 censure demons. You can see under the bottom of it, it says passive plus 10 melee and range powers. And then we're getting plus 11 for this. So if I open up my stats here, I would expect to see, let me do that again. I would expect to see under melee power 25, and that's what I see. 25. Range power is 21 because we don't get the 4 from the 2-handed fighting feats for range power. Alright, so we are set up. I think the last thing I need to do is just hit Control E, and we are respected, ready to go for level 13. Oh, ship buffs. Let me go back and get ship buffs real quick and just see what our total hit points are. I was expecting to see over 300. And long ago, there used to be a bug that if you did your lesser, you lost your hit point bonuses from feats. And I'll have to check the leveling up to 13 to see what our hit points are to see if that's the case. I thought I remember it being around 311, but I don't think it's going to be that high once I get my buffs. But let me just check and see if that's the case. 313. So yeah, it's about what it was before. So we are in good shape with hit points going into to level 13, and we'll get a, additional boost from Reaper. In terms of Reaper, we're at 4,000 to our next point. Outside shot, we'll get that this level, but probably early into the Reaper's next level. All right, so that is the reincarnation, lesser reincarnation that basically is a respec to take advantage of the 32-point build and the +2 stat tome. And I'm excited about this level.